Katie.
I'm Jules. We are the Ting Tings.
And we're on A-Sides with John Chattman.
Well, guys, welcome to A-Sides.
Thanks.
What was that all about? Come on.
I said thanks. I don't know how else to say it.
That was not really convincing.
Thanks. I don't know how to say it. I didn't mean to be.
No, that's too dramatic. Now I can't even bother.
Thank you.
Damn it. Him, I believe it was sincere. You don't know. You don't know how to act around me. Is it the hat? Because I don't know. I think it looks alright.
It's alright.
It's the hat. So, guys, we're here at Webster Hall. You're playing later. What have you noticed the main difference between playing for? Who the hell is that? Walking up these stairs. They're closed right now.
Ghosts.
Anyway, ghosts. It's the ghost of. I don't know. So anyway, what would you say is the major difference between playing in your homeland in terms of like the audiences, as opposed to here?
We had the perfect example 2 days ago when we played in Brooklyn, in Williamsburg, and it was that in the UK, you kind of dance the same. People in the UK are a little bit more reserved, I'd say, naturally. But in America, between songs, the audience heckle you in a nice way. They want full-on conversations. I've not had that anywhere else but the States, where they're literally like, "We love you. Where did you get your shoes from? I saw you 2 years ago," and it's a full-on conversation.
But this isn't while you're on stage. People are asking.
Yeah.
What?
Honestly.
People ask you where you got those shoes?
No, they don't ask me as much.
They said they like my hair, like everything. Like 2 days ago, I was like, this. I actually said to the audience, "This is why American audiences are different to anywhere else, because nowhere else do they do it." Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's
pretty
really cool.
Where'd you get those shoes from? So what about in terms of the album release? We were talking about this a little bit before we were on camera. Like, if it was me and I've been like having these songs out for God knows how long, not out, but like just in my bubble or whatever, and then they come out in England and then they're new to the States, but yet you probably made it 2 years ago. How can you keep the momentum going for songs that you've been living with for so damn long?
Well, firstly, on this album, it hasn't been that long. We started touring in Europe and in the UK in November of last year. It was the first tour we started to do with this record.
I guess it was more with the last record, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's different. I mean, with the first two albums, then obviously we've been playing those songs for the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years, depending on which album you consider. But I mean, it doesn't, you know what, when it comes to the USA, it's an amazing thing for us, or for most bands, because there's a circuit in the USA that you can start and finish, and it takes time. So you get to become a much better band when you're in the States, because you're doing a lot more work. You're physically out there playing, earning your keep all the time. In the UK, in a lot of European cities, pop music, let's call it, or I know what you want to call it, crossover music that gets on the radio that sells, if you want to call that popular music, it comes and goes really quick. So you don't really live it out long enough. So if you have a hit record, give or take, I mean, obviously, that's not my name, Sharp and Let Me Go are big hit records for us, and they've lasted for 6 years. So we go all around the world, and they have to be in the set. People want to hear those songs. But generally, in most countries, those songs come and go in their peak. So you have a hit, everyone's talking about you, you come into the city or the country, you play all the big capitals, and within 2 weeks, you've toured France. Yeah. 2 weeks you've toured the UK, 2 weeks you've toured Germany. So you go around with the European tour, and within sort of 3 months you've covered everything, every single country. In the States it's completely different. When you come here with a record, or at least for us, you put your record out there, and your album's out there, and then you start to promote one of the singles to get people interested in the record, and you do 7 weeks touring just on that first stint, and you're living on a bus, and you're killing it every night. It's amazing, because it's what it used to be, I think, around the world. I think years ago in the 70s, that's what bands did in the UK. They just consistently gigged, whether it's in a pub, whether it's in a bar, or whether it's in a concert hall. Those have got crushed in Europe, because there's not as many venues anymore. But in the States, you still have a really good circuit. So bands like ourselves, I think a lot of European bands, love to come to America and to get out on the road, even if it's just in a little bus and it's hard work, because you get an opportunity to get better, because every night you're playing, you're learning your songs, you get a much more sense of awareness about what your record is, rather than being in the studio, which is a different type of awareness. So it doesn't bother us to come here and do long tours and play our music.
So were you guys, when you set out for this, this next record, EPs are like all the rage now, and they've been forever. You always knew it was going to be a full length this time out?
Yes, I think we did know that. I think maybe our second album, we made our second record that we purposely tried to make it sound like a playlist where every song was different. That was the concept of it. I don't think a lot of people got that concept, but that was the concept. So this time we did want to make an album that was really coherent and like a piece of work in itself, just because that was something completely different that we hadn't done on the second album. So yeah, we definitely set out, and we made it in Ibiza, and I'd say we got there, and for us we're a weird band because we kind of live kind of in the pop world, but we function really like an indie band, or we write and record everything ourselves. And when we've been touring, I remember we finished touring our second album, I think we finished China, and then we got to Ibiza, and it took us maybe 4 or 5 months just to kind of get normal again, so you can, exist and write your songs. So we got to Ibiza, and about 4 months later we started to write, and then we spent about 9 months, maybe 8 months in the studio, actually, studio time, which is quite a long time.
Yeah. So, I mean, are you guys, like, perfectionists? Like, are you, like, never happy? Are you never satisfied?
Perfectionist. I'm the complete opposite.
So, wait, so the album's out, so you can't do anything now, but is there still little things you hear it once in a while and you're like, damn,
I'm still working on the first album, I think.
Yeah.
That this third album, I think where we make things really interesting for ourselves is that when we go live, it's not the same. And that's us moving on immediately. So we spend a big bulk of time in the studio trying to get this thing that we're trying to, in our heads, that we know what we want, getting it right on the record. I think this record and the first record, we achieved that really well. It's exactly what we wanted, almost. It's never exact, but it's close, and you have to sort of live with a bit of that. But then just when you're starting to get frustrated, you finish the record, so we get it mixed, and we mixed it in Avatar in New York, which is an amazing experience on analog. And then we got it mastered, and then we started our own label, and then we start feeding this stuff out, licensing to do in America, and we've got management. And it's all kind of a new setup, which we love, because we hate being in the same band twice. Right. So we feel really fresh, we feel like we're discovering new ground, and we feel like we're in these amazing clubs again that we started off with back in the day, discovering ourselves. And the great thing is when we go on stage with this record, is that we know that we've got this record, it's doing really well at radio, and it's all starting to sort of blow up. But on stage, we completely take it apart again. So it gives us another life. It's not like we're doing that same record every night. Don't forget, you've got to do this here. It's not. We completely...
Each show is different.
Every show is different. It's all live. People think that we're using backing tracks. We use loops, live loops. Everything is triggered live. So that, yes, there are loops that we've created. We do layering of music. Katie adds like 6 layers of guitars. It's all spontaneous, and that's what changes it every night. And we do change the songs up as well. There's a few songs that really work on record, just keeping it there, keeping it fun. When we go on stage, we've got more energy, because that's not my name, shut up, there's a lot of power in that. And so we get to these spots where we're not ready to just cruise it out. So what we do is we adapt it and we change it, and Katie start punking it up, and it comes into this weird area which audience love. It's a really cool way of working, and it keeps you kind of vibed up for the next 6 months when you're on tour.
You know, it's interesting. You guys are like an indie band, yet if I say Ting Tings to anybody, they're gonna name drop Charlie Day. so I guess rather than just asking how the movie came out so long ago. But
we didn't know that scene was going to be like that. We just...
You had no idea?
No, I remember we got an email saying that we get offered, film syncs in commercials and stuff. We get quite a lot. Our music just suits those kind of things. And I just thought they was using it somewhere in the film. Then when I watched it, I was like, he's actually singing it. It was really funny.
And he's coked out of his mind.
Yeah, it was quite funny.
So
I'll give it them.
If you have any legacy, it's not a bad one to have Charlie Day coked out sing to it. And then the other thing, and I say this as a parent of 2, so the Yo Gabba Gabba thing, which, I mean,
again,
I'm sure,
we had no idea what that was.
Right? I mean, and that lives forever.
Yeah, I mean, oh my God, the amount of people, I remember we were sat on an aeroplane and Erica Badu came up to me and she was like, I found you on Yo Gabba Gabba. like these amazing people that we're huge fans of found us through that show. And what happened with that was that we got asked to do this show called Yo Gabba Gabba, and I think the Roots had been on it, and we didn't really understand what it was. And so somebody sent us like this YouTube link, and it was Party You My Tummy, and we was like, fuck yeah, we are totally going on that. I don't know what it is, but it looks fun. And so we went on it, and we had no idea. But what was interesting was that like MGMT did it, and lots of other bands did it, but it seemed to be like children like latched on to our band that went on it, because I don't know why, maybe it was the song, the old.
But it is true, yeah.
Yeah. And so we started to have like people bring their kids to our shows, but we'd be like, back you!
They hold him up like
And
totally.
you see them like kind of moving their children away from us going, oh no, you're not the band of your gubba gubba that
Yeah,
I
we're going on
thought.
stage smashing and swearing and they're like, oops, plugs.
Yeah.
So you can inspire someone's childhood and ruin it at the exact same time.
I
Or
would
when
have
you're
noticed children like, shut up and let me go, because I think it feels like they're swearing.
Okay.
They can actually say like, shut up and get away with it. That's what I noticed. But it wasn't ever the intent. I don't know if I quite like
Corrupting
it or not.
mind.
Yeah, seriously. You just turned off all of my children viewers, with
You
that,
got to grow up sometime,
which
man.
is probably like 3 people. So you guys have nothing to worry about. Well, listen, good luck with the tour.
Thank
The
you.
new album's awesome.
Thank you.
The old albums are awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
That was so formal, wasn't it?